today's video, I'm going to show you how to design a 90s style rock t-shirt from scratch in Photoshop. I'm going to take you through my design process, colors, typography, and at the very end, a mock-up. So stay tuned. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to start typing out my hero title or the faux band or artist. Once we do that, I'm going to size this up a little bit. And then what I want to do, I like the typography, but what I want to do is add a little bit of motion to it and give it some character. So two things we're going to do with this. I'm going to change up the characters or change up the letters here and add some movement, and then we're going to do a little bit of blur. So I'll speed past the moving of the characters around or the letters around, but what we'll do is we'll go convert this to a shape, and then we're going to start moving these letters around. Once we convert it to a shape, grab your direct selection tool, and you can grab these letters individually and then Control T to select that letter, and then you can start moving that around. I'll fast forward through this, and then we get to the blur part. I'll start showing you some of how we move these characters around and add a little bit of motion to this. Now that we've went ahead and got our text all together, we want to kind of size this up again, and I'm going to warp this text and do like an arc lower, maybe 15, minus 15, size that up. The next thing I want to do is I want to add some motion to this. We're going to go to filter, blur, and what I want to do is take these little points, these little stoppers, and we're going to adjust how much blur we have in each little stopper, each little point. And you can do that just by moving your arrow or moving your mouse left or right to increase the blur or decrease the blur. And you can move these around once you get done. So let's say you don't want this blur as high up on the letter as this. Maybe you want to move it down. Just grab it, pull it down, and it's simple as that. So I'm going to increase some of these blurs. I'm going to decrease some of them just to give this a little bit more motion, and so it doesn't look as static and maybe not so boring, I guess you could say. Now that we've went ahead and did a little blur for our hero title, we're going to go ahead and drop in our background and start working from there and filling out our background. Drop this in here, and then I'm going to size this up right about there. Drop this to the back, and while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to change this color to like an off-white. It was a little more yellow in our example, but I'm going to go a little more kind of off-white. And since we have the majority of our background, I kind of want to change that around as well. Layer mask, grab my brush, got a nice soft brush, and we're going to kind of just go around the edge here. I don't know what's going on with my computer. It has been a step behind, like it hadn't had its coffee this morning or whatever the case may be, but it just has been it's been super slow, and I've done all that I know to do to get this to work. It might be time to like just upgrade and grab another unit so that I don't have this problem. But yeah, if anybody knows of something that I might be able to do to change that, by all means let me know. But right now, yeah, it's just been a royal pain. So yeah, I just kind of want to fade, do a soft fade, and we're gonna bring this down a smidge. And even though I'm bringing this down, I'm going to size it as well. Kind of like that. Because this is kind of post-apocalyptic and I'm doing something that is like a faux band, even though we're getting the essence of this 90s rock band, I wanted to add a couple more elements to make it look a little more post-apocalyptic. I've got some birds here that I want to drop in, kind of put those around, size a couple of them, move them around just a smidge. I say that a lot, a smidge, a little, a smidge, a bit, a wee bit. Now we're gonna add some other elements. I want to put a little graffiti and stuff like that around. I believe the font that I'm using for this is Urban. I believe it's Urban. Urban something, right about there. Sometimes you gotta get like super close to this and get in here nice and tight to make sure that's exactly where I wanna put this. I don't want it to be too terribly prominent, and I'm gonna immediately change the color because I want it to be the same color as the rest of my text. And now for that drip effect, I had an idea because it's kind of like a spray paint, but I have a drip effect that I wanted to use as well. So I'm gonna grab that. I believe this is the one. What I'm gonna do really quick, as opposed to taking or trying to take one whole kind of drip effect, I'm gonna kind of make my own and manufacture. I wanna grab my lasso tool. The first thing I'm gonna do is kind of lasso around this so that I have this singled out. Right, so to do that, Command-Control-J, and now you can see I've got two different layers. So I'm gonna remove this layer, hide that, and now we're gonna come back over to this one. Size this up just a smidge. There it is again, just a smidge. And what I wanna do is remove the background. Now that we have got the background removed, I'm going to apply this layer mask. And now I'm going to do one more thing with my lasso tool, get in here nice and close. And I just want like little portions of the drip effect here. So I'm going to go with my lasso tool, maybe come around here and grab just this drip portion. And then I'm going to separate that with Command-Control-J, come back down to my original, and we're going to do the same thing. And maybe I grab this little section here. And notice that I'm not like cutting straight across, like a harsh, straight across horizontal line. I'm kind of making it at an angle, as if paint were to dry or drip or something like that. It wouldn't drip at a horizontal, it would drip at an angle. And then I'll get rid of that. So now I've got two separate pieces here that I'm gonna use, and we're going to bring those back into our design. Bring this over here. And the first thing I wanna do is get nice and snug in here so that you guys can see that. And what we're gonna do is we're going to kind of merge these two together. I'm gonna do some warping and stuff like that so that all of this looks as if it's one piece. I'll show you that here in just a second. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side for some more text. I may or may not use the same drip effect because I don't want it to look kind of cookie cutter, you know what I mean? So we're gonna grab this. Let's go ahead and change the color overlay. I'm gonna size this down, way down. This is kind of where I want it to be. And so you're thinking, well, how is that gonna work? How are you gonna have this particular piece on a drip effect for the S? Glad you asked. Come over to edit, come down to transform and warp. And so if we get in here a little more close, I'm gonna start manipulating this drip effect to kind of blend into my letter S. Now I know there's other ways that you can do this, but this is what Marcus is doing today. If you do know another way that I may not be showing you, let me know in the comments. Your way might be better than mine. Maybe you have a nice little sneaky way of doing this that I haven't thought of. And I'll just raise this up right here, kind of like that. And that way we kind of have this little drip effect. So I want to make sure that my drip is behind my letters. So if we come over here to our layers, I want to make sure this drip is behind my layer. Don't want it to be in front, I want it to be behind. So that's going to be my first drip. And we'll come back over and grab this one. Actually, I might flip that. This might be on my T and this might be, yeah, let's do that. So let's grab this one. That is way closer than we need to be. And if you ever have any of this kind of like ghosting that you see here, there's a couple of different ways to fix that. You can come over to your filter and go down to your other and do a minimum. And sometimes that will help if you increase this. If not, like if you have either a white or a black like outline around, filter, other, maximum, and sometimes it'll fix it. If it doesn't, here's another way. You can come over to layer, go down to layer mask from transparency, and then once you've done that, you can see that there's going to be a nice little layer there. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, nice little layer, a layer mask there. And then you can come over to image, adjustments, and come down to threshold. And then you can start adjusting from there. That is definitely not the way we want to go. Start adjusting from there. You see there's still like a little outline there. Here's another way to adjust that. Let's just go straight into image, adjustments, and threshold. And we're gonna move this slider all the way over to the right. So a couple different ways that you can work that out. Now we're going to double click on that layer, go over to our color overlay, and we're going to make that the same color as our letters. Now let's go ahead and size this down, way down. And then we're going to do the same thing for the T. If I were doing this, say for a client or something like that, I would take much more time. I'd be super detailed with it, but I just want you to get the concept. So now if we zoom back out, got a nice little drip effect. Because we work clean, I'm going to go ahead right now and put this into a group. And this will be letters, drip. Right, so now I know I can go ahead and move on to the next thing. So we've got our birds, we've got some post-apocalyptic stuff going on here. One more thing I want to do is we're going to work in this area here and maybe this area here to take away some of the negative space. So we're going to go and grab our typography tool and we're going to do, actually we'll do 94. Turn this, size this down, turn this just a smidge. And I like that, but I don't like it. I don't like the way the numbers are. So let's try something different. I want to have these numbers a little different. So we'll do this number 9, even though I know it doesn't look like it. Let's size this up first. So we'll size this right till about here. And now we'll duplicate duplicate this, Command or Control J, we'll move this number over here, and then we'll just change this number. I like that much better. So what we're gonna do with these two, as you can see, I'm just gonna go Command E, and we're gonna merge those two layers. So now this is 94, and we're gonna go ahead with our drip effect again. And so there's a couple of different ways that you can do this drip effect, but for time purposes, I wanna do this. What I'm going to do here soon is I'm going to merge these together so that they become one piece. And that way, if I want to move this around, let's say I don't particularly like it where I originally put it, I have one piece to move as opposed to having 4 different pieces to move. Now, you could do something else. You could link these individual pieces together, and that way you don't have to merge them. So that's another less destructive way of moving things around. But you could also duplicate everything and put that into a folder. That way, if you do decide to merge them, you have the originals as well. So a couple of different ways that you can work around things. What I really want to do is I want to have some warning signs, or what would look like warning signs. I'm going to show you a way that we can do that, and then we're going to add our bottom text, or what would be, let's say, album title, because we're doing a 90s rock theme, right? So let's add what would be our warning signs. So we're just going to draw out a rectangle, and let's change to this color here, grab this color, and then what I want to do, what I just thought was, this sign would not be just floating, right? That's gonna kind of look stupid. So we want to do something that's going to have this kind of anchored somewhere. So we want this to be a little more realistic. So let's make this rectangle here, and let's start this right about here, and I'll just do this rectangle right about there, and we'll make this into a solid color. We don't need a stroke, so let's take that away. And if I really need to, I can make this a little wider, then we'll round these edges a bit. So now that we have that, what I want to do is kind of join this together. But first, I want to make maybe 2 more of these. So let's duplicate this, Command or Control J, and what I want to do is kind of offset these, and then we're going to grab some text and put some text in here. I also want to duplicate this as well. So Command or Control J, and then we're just going to move this one down. I might want to make these solid. What do you think? I should make these solid. I think I'm going to make these solid. We'll make these solid, and we'll do the same thing here. We'll make this solid. I just had not an epiphany, but a thought that if we're going post-apocalyptic, we really don't want things to just kind of float. We want them to seem as though they were done on purpose. So now we have this sign, kind of like a warning sign, but to make it a little more realistic, let's add what could be nails or screws or something like that, just to give it a little more realism before we start adding distressing stuff like that in our bottom title. So now that we have a bunch of these signages, I'm gonna move this down so my first sign is not just kind of floating in the air there. That looks better. We'll grab our ellipse. We're gonna make an ellipse, and we'll get back in close here, and we're just gonna make a small ellipse. We'll make that there, we'll make that there, and maybe one more here. These are now our nails or screws or whichever you would like to call them. And now we're gonna put a little text in here, and this text is gonna be for our title, which is gonna be the album title, which is Last Transmission. And I think we used Euro. We use regular. We'll size this down, way down. Or, I don't know how to think about it. We should do this urban. I might like this, I might not like this. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe we find another font. So I like it, but I don't like it. So it took me a second and I had to find it, but I knew I wanted something that looked warning wise. So we found the font Alert COVID, and that's what we're going to use for our sign. Very, I don't want to say scary, but very apropos for something of this genre. I'm going to size this up here, and I think this is exactly what we needed. I'm going to duplicate this, Command-Control-J. I'm going to drag this one down here, but we're going to change this to transmission. And then we're going to have to size that way down to right about there. And to make this stand out a little bit, I think I'm going to put, because the word is so long, I'll put a stroke on there, but I want it to be a little smaller. And if we get in there nice and tight, that don't look half bad. So that's our sign, that's our post. Later on, I'm going to show you how we're going to kind of blend this all together and how, so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb right now. Let's go ahead and work on our bottom sign here, our bottom signage or text. Go back to our type tool, type this out, and we're going to change this color. And I think I want to grab this color here. And then we're going to change our font to Euro style, and I believe we used extended. And then we're going to duplicate this as well. So we grab this, Command-Control-J, and we're going to bring this down to right about here. Change this. And because this word is so small, I'm going to increase the kerning on it. So let's go 200, let's go more than that. I'm at like 400 now. Again, we're going to work smart and clean. So as we're over here creating all these layers and not to get stuff all crazy and lost, this is going to be our lower text. I'm going to create a group, and this is going to be, wait a minute now, perfect example of trying to work clean and yet not working clean. So these are all our signs, and we'll grab that and put these all into a group. Now we got all of our stuff nice and grouped. We're now ready to go ahead and start some post work to kind of tie this all in. Remember, we were going to fade this out so that it doesn't look like it's just sticking out there for no reason. So an easy way for us to do this is to obviously create a layer mask. Create a layer mask, grab your brush. This portion down here, we kind of want to fade that, meaning we want that to kind of disappear underneath this smoke here. An easy way to do this would be to grab a nice soft brush and kind of fade this out. But I want to do something that's going to be a little more realistic. What we'll do is we will grab our lasso tool. What I want to do is kind of trace this rock here and use that as a way of hiding where my post is. But you can't always see the exact angles of the rock. So a nice way to go about that is to lower the opacity of what you're working on so that you can see the angles of the rock or whatever it is that's behind it, and you're just going to work that way. So I'll grab that angle here, that angle of the rock, and follow this down and then circle back around, right? And then once you've done that, all you got to do is switch your color from, or switch your foreground from black to white and hit delete, and that'll get rid of everything. So now that we're done with that, and you can see if we get in here nice and close, that this is pretty much the angle of the rock that I wanted to work on. Bring back up the opacity, and now you have what would be that post kind of staying behind the rock there. Kind of either it's wedged or there's actual dirt behind it that'll allow that post to stay up there. So now that we have that all together, you got what would be merch for this band. So we did a little different take toward our hero title. What I did was change my letters to shapes, rearrange those letters how you wanted to, and then we went back into our filter, and then we went blur gallery and blur field, and then we adjusted some blur fields on portions of our hero title, a little blurry, some clearer, but just to give some motion to it. Changed our colors, and now we've kind of structured everything the way we like. put some birds in here so we can have some post-apocalyptic stuff. We did some tagging to make sure that we branded and then added a little warning sign here. Now that we've got pretty much everything all mapped out the way we want it to, when you think about your design, think about how the end user would be looking at it. How is it going to feel? What is the way that you're going to print this shirt? Is it going to be DTF? Is it going to be DTG? Is it going to be screen printing where you would have to separate all these colors? I'm thinking more of DTG or DTF. So what I want to do is, I know it's going to be on a black shirt or a black hoodie, so I want to knock out the black for this design. Grab the black from the designs itself and basically delete those, or you could do this. We're going to go ahead and put all of this into a group. We're going to grab all of these layers, holding down Shift, Control G, put everything into a group. We're going to double click into that group. And here is where we're going to grab this stopper. And actually, before I do that, let me go back so you can actually see the difference. I'm going to remove the background, and this way we're only getting rid of the black. So we're going to double click into that layer, and I'm going to grab this stopper, hold the Alt key down, and click that stopper. So you can already see the difference of when that stopper splits. I'm going to move this stopper up to about 100, and then I'm going to move this left stopper over. I don't think I want to go above 40, so right around there. So you can see the difference now. The black is totally gone from the design. So we're going to use the shirt or substrate, whatever you're using, hoodie, shirt, we're going to use that as the color. So that way less ink is being used for a softer feel for the shirt. Once you're satisfied with that, go ahead and click OK. And now you can see that all of that black is gone. And what you have is basically transparent. So when you bring back the background, all of the black that you see is just the shirt. And I kind of want to do something to this. I did it on the other design, but I'm thinking I want to do it on this one as well. Let's do the inner shadow. I want to have a little depth to the hero title. So now that we've got that all said and done, let's go ahead and mock this puppy up to see what it would actually look like on a shirt. I went ahead and grabbed one of my mock-ups, which is, I love the cross colors. I love the comfort colors. Comfort colors are one of my favorite shirts by far. Super soft, super great for when it comes to doing like vintage designs and stuff like that. Let's drop in our image. We're gonna size this up, and then once I get it to the desired size that I want, we're gonna convert this into a smart object. Come over here to your layer, right click, convert to a smart object. Reason why I want to convert this into a smart object is everything that I do from here on this specific layer will stay with that layer. If you don't convert it to a smart object, you're just kind of stacking on top of that layer, but nothing is really staying with that layer. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments. I'll explain it to you. We've went ahead and converted this layer into a smart object. So now I'm going to come over to image adjustments, and I'm going to go to brightness and contrast. This is where I'm going to start adjusting things so that this design kind of sits in the shirt, or we're going to make it look a part of the shirt as much as possible. To do that, we're going to make sure that we have legacy checked, and then we're going to come down here and start adjusting our brightness and our contrast. So I want to get in here a little snug and start adjusting this. And to go extreme, this is what it would look like if you were, no contrast whatsoever. So kind of want to go to my right to give it a little color boost. And then to give it that vintage feel, I'm kind of gonna do this. Now each design is obviously gonna be a little different. Maybe I wanna come down on my contrast just a bit. There we go. Now we could have done some distressing and stuff like that, but I chose not to because I wanted this to be a little different. Usually I do a bunch of distressing and stuff like that to try to get that vintage wear, that vintage feel to it. But this time we're just gonna leave it as is. So there is our mock-up for our 90s rock band. faux band from scratch. So there he is, all mocked up. We did our hero title. We did some blurring on our hero title to give it a little bit of motion. We added some depth with the birds, and we did some branding with some graffiti and stuff like that. At the very bottom, we put on our album title. That's it from start to scratch, building a vintage rock band t-shirt. Didn't put any distressing on it this time. I wanted it to be just the aesthetics of a 90s rock band t-shirt. If you got any questions, please let me know. Leave them in the comments. If you got anything out of this, please give us a thumbs up. It's the easiest and freest way to support the channel. It means the world to me. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.